Hello everyone and welcome back here on the ChainLog YouTube channel. Today we're gonna assess if the situation on Bitcoin and so on is in the position where we could see more downturn, or in other case the top side again. And we are going through technical analysis, on-chain data, and some derivative data as well, assessing this. And obviously the macroeconomic didn't change since last week, so we are still expecting that 25 bps. We are still expecting the Fed to stop raising interest rates and so on. There isn't really much more news than since the last week than the SEC suing Coinbase and Binance that I already talked about anyway on the socials, and nothing major is happening right now. What we have to do on Bitcoin, and here you see my latest Wednesday take profits and entries on Bitcoin, and these were those for Ethereum. Okay, what we have to do on Bitcoin is to stay above the 25k, and to stay above the 25k, we already since Wednesday we already got 3 entries, 1, 2, 3 entries. So let's get into a chart that's maybe more readable for you, more easy to see. Okay, this one, let's get to the daily, because we are going to assess technical analysis from the daily on for the next week. So as of today, we have, let's taking our MAs. We have Bitcoin staying on the 200 daily EMA. We have still more to go. We could even go 24.2k or so on, because we have the other 200, the SMA at 23.5k, and it's more or less getting up to the point where it may be at the same level of this trend line right here that is supporting the price to the upside. Meanwhile, we get up. Obviously, this is a bearish pattern, and this is an ascending broadening wedge, but still we have this support, and the next support is right here, as I already said. So I got it. I got the worst case scenario, in fact, right here, 200 SMA daily, and I took that 10% of the entries. I would say if you have 100% of entries, 10% you can get here, 10% you get on the 50 SMA weekly, and the lower Bollinger Band weekly. So let's get into the weekly chart. In fact, maybe it's that you can see maybe better. But first, let's see on the Bollinger Bands. So on the daily, we touched the lower bands of the Bollinger Bands, so we could probably see a little bit of backup tomorrow, a little bit of price appreciation, nothing major if we don't get up from here directly. And what we can see is that, for example, the 30 RSI, this green line right here is the 30 RSI, is actually at the same level of the 200 daily SMA at 23.5k more or less. So we have another support right there if we have to fall back and prolong this this bear market again. But still, we don't have to fall back down from there, because otherwise getting up will be difficult. If we get to the point where we got 24k and we're touched this trend line right here, and we get to, on the weekly chart for example, we get to the 200 EMA on the weekly chart for the retest, then we would have to bounce back in the matter of 7 days, so another week, not more, because if we go and we stay right there, and then we'll see probably again the 22k and so on, 23, 22, and so on. Another thing right here is that the RSI is not to take in consideration, not if the only RSI we can take in consideration is the 50, so the middle from the overbought and the oversold level, and we are at that point right here at 25k. The Bollinger Bands, we broke down from the middle Bollinger Bands, so the retest is coming to be probable again, and until the 22, 21k is still probable, but it's more probable than it was last week when we were above this Bollinger Bands. Not that much if we can stay above 25, but if we fall back to 25, 24k, more or less 24.3, 24.5 are sure, and 22, 23 could be more and more probable. On the monthly chart, we see something different, obviously, because the first support is still at 23k, and if we fall back from here, next month we stay at 25k until 20 days from now, and we stay right here more or less 20 to 25, 25 to 26, 25 to 26, and we stay 20 days right here. We get into a new month, 25k. We get down from there to the 23 for sure. And this is not just because of that, is that because obviously the middle Bollinger Bands right here are too much up, and the RSI, the middle 50 RSI here made us resistance, and so obviously you can take the RSI of the monthly because it's minus 6k and so on. But these are the supports. So supports, we could actually just putting on the chart right here at this point, we can get the supports on the chart. Right there. So this is a support on the chart, obviously, even for the price action candles, and this is the supports. The first support on the monthly chart. So we have a lot of support. We already said on here, but we have on the weekly chart we have this as last support, and we have to see next week if we are still here more or less. So we should just take into account that this is the low BB weekly. Okay, let's get the text out so we don't get confused. And this was the 50 EMA monthly, right? It was the 50 EMA monthly, yeah. And these are two major supports as of right now. The other one is more or less 24.5k right here, and it is for the weekly is the retest of this trend line, obviously the 26 SMA, the 200 weekly, and the 200 weekly EMA. So the 200 weekly and daily, essentially daily SMA. So this is the weekly EMA and daily SMA. And daily SMA, if I don't think I was 23k. It was more or less. Yeah, it was here. So 50 EMA monthly plus 200 day SMA right there. So this is the support we have as of right now, the 200 weekly, and the other one right here is more or less the 200 weekly EMA. Let's getting a little bit up, obviously, because it's going to change, and there is also the 26, but at these levels another support is where we are right now. And talking about support where we are right now, okay, let's get into on-chain data, and let's realize the fact that we are still on a linear basis above the 200 weekly EMAs. So we're still there. We hang out there a little bit, but it's difficult for the price to stay right here without taking flight, not going to retest maybe another level. And in this case, the level we have is the realized price at 20k. 20k will be no more than that, even if with a black swan event. We got this SEC to Binance to Coinbase and so on, so probably we're still in the midst of something here. But what could be the next step as well on chain? Here we have the address band cost basis distribution. That's a volumetric on-chain data analysis. That means that here we have the price where the people enter and exited the coin, the spent output, and so the cost basis that they had. So here we can see that a lot of cost basis we have at 27.5, 28.5. This will be the major our major resistances to the downside. Another major resistance support instead is 17k, but going down from where we are right now at 25k, we have 24k, 23.5, 23, 22. So the on chain we have a lot of support from 25 to the 20, and in this case I don't think we'll get down from there. And also on chain we have this support, so this analysis right here still remain the same until the 21k and so on. They actually getting confluence together. So we saw another thing right here where we got up from the very abyss of the bear market, and you see right here this is short term to long term holder in profit and in percentage, and you see that every time the short term holder got in profit on a 7D EMA to the 100, so 100% of short term holder got in profit, we had next slowdown in the price appreciation, and the same went the last time we got to from 20k to 30k. We got this spike in obviously in a short term holder in profit, and then we got down from there since now, and we are at levels at 36% of short term holders that are in profit. Meanwhile 65% of those are in loss, and this could mean that we can reverse from here, but we will have the very a very much a reverse when we got the short term holder to the in profit to the 10 to 15, let's say 15 to 5%, and we are not there yet. So this is not bullish, it's not bearish, but it's in the middle, and it's something that we should take in consideration on the short term price action. Obviously in the long term anything didn't change. Still I'm waiting for the next month to get Bitcoin to 30, 33, 34 and 36 level at the very maximum. So nothing changed in the long term, but in the short term this is what I'm seeing right now. We are still hanging above the short term on the realized price, but if we fall back, as I already said, we will have to regain momentum and to retest it again and to do all the same things again. So this will postpone the bull market, obviously. Meanwhile, the long-term holder are more or less at the same realized price level of the realized price of the market in general. That's 19.8. In this case of the long-term holder, realized price is still 18.75. Realized price is the cost basis on chain. So for these categories of hodlers, short-term holders are less than 5 month holders, and long-term holders are more than 5 month holders. So this is short-term holder addressed as MVRV. So we are now taking into account the market value to the realized value of this category of hodler. That means that when the market price it's above the realized price of the cost basis, obviously we are in a state of profit. When the market price is below the realized price or the cost basis on chain, we are in a state of loss. And now we are taking into account that 40% of them, 35% of them, of the short-term holder, let's take this right from here, 35% are in loss, are in profit, And we are touching again the MVRV1. That means that they are not in a state of profit nor in a state of loss. They are at the point where they have to choose if re-entering the market at their cost basis, or waiting and getting down from there to retest the one and to getting out because they think the market will go down later on. In this case, if they think the market will get up, we'll see this spike price. And last time we did. Let's see if this time is the same. I think that if there isn't any new news and we account right here, probably we'll have the possibility to get to a spike down from here. What I think is that we got to spike down to 24.5k and then we get up, because that will be probably the bear trap we need to get up to trap shorts and to short squeeze to the upside then again. But this is my opinion only. Obviously, all you see right here is not financial advice. Long-term holder addresses MVRVs. They are long-term holder are actually in profit, and they got a little bit down from there. I mean, well, the price got down, but they didn't really realize any of these profits. Majority we already saw two or three weeks ago, that the majority of the realized profits right here comes from a short-term holder in every way, and the majority of those still realized profit are coming from AMBEX and whales. So they are manipulating the market. They are the only one short-term holders that they can move the price actually into an illiquid market like this. And even short-term holder coin super testimony the fact that we are still hanging out on the one, so we are a little bit less than one as per the super is the metric that takes into account profitability of the market. So when short-term holder are moving coins, their coins price are being realized here, and it's more or less the same of the cost basis, because the one is their cost basis, and when they got below one, they are actually in a state of unrealized loss, and when they got up, they are in a state of unrealized profit. Obviously, they are moving these coins, but it's like paper loss and paper profits, because if they don't sell, then they just move their coins and then don't sell. It's a state of unprofitability on the downside, and a state of profitability on the upside, but still unrealized. So we are still hanging out right here on the one, and when we got to the one and we start getting the one as a support to re-enter the market as per their cost basis, they probably think that the market will go up. So it's the same as MVRV as to the rate, as to how to rate this. And we are a little bit back down, but nothing really matters that we got. We are in a state of not bullish, not bearish, even right here. We are still hanging out, and we are waiting for something to happen. I already said what I think it will happen, but this is obviously my opinion. And still, even here on the realized profit side, we are seeing that there isn't really much volatility. We are compressing our ranges and waiting for something to happen. In a few weeks, we'll see a huge spike in the price appreciation, as we did right here. We stayed daily like 1 month in this state from 16k, and the same maybe will go on right here until the point that something will change. Shorts will be trapped or longs will be trapped, and so we'll get up or down. Probably, as I already said, longs will be trapped down. We'll trap more shorts, so we'll get shorts liquidated and we'll go up. And not only that, but here there is more liquidity to get in at spot prices and so on. So we need that to get up. So still we are hanging out, and we are in the middle of nowhere as per the short-term price action. The adjusted SOPR actually taking out the 1 hour transactions that makes out for 40% of the noise on the super chart. Taking out those 1 hour or less transactions, we get to see that we are still at the one, precisely at the one, and we can get up from here. If something happens, probably we'll get a little bit down, and then we'll get up, as I already said. The fact that in the last few days, the majority of longs has been liquidated not on bitcoins is the reason why you see getting altcoins destroyed in comparison to Bitcoin. You see right here longs on Bitcoin getting liquidated in the last 24 hours are 40.81. Meanwhile, if we get all the coins, it's 327 million. Is like eight time more, seven, let's say 7 time more, 7-8, because it depends on what you account for the 40 million. If you take that into account, or if you subtract from 320. So this is why you see that happening on the altcoin sector as well. And here we have, for example, the 200 week. I will say just this a little bit really fast. This is the heat map of the 200 week moving averages, where we can see that when we touch the purple lines is the time to buy, and we are still in the time to buy right here. So if you want to long-term buy for selling into a new bull market, or I don't know, this is a good time. And still wait maybe for this kind of green to start selling again. The blue is the middle of nowhere for long-term investors. It's just a little something for you. We got lately this spike, in fact, thanks to liquidation on the Bitcoin dominance, and I will say that something has changed, because you see right here I have my cyclical behavior on the Bitcoin dominance, and when the Bitcoin dominance changes, and we change that lately, because we are actually in the downturn momentum. We should have, when something changed, and it changed right here when we touched May 2021. We touched more or less the bottom, the top, the bottom on the May 2021. We were down from 60 to 30k, if I remember correctly, because I was there. Yeah. From there on, we got this behavioral pattern, cyclical pattern on the Bitcoin dominance, and now something is changing. We are getting up when we should get down. So this tells me that something is actually changing, as well, as I already said multiple times weeks ago. So I think that in the coming months we'll see even more the altcoin sector bleed. Meanwhile, we get up from the abyss, so we'll stay right here because people will exit altcoins that they think they are securities, to put those into Bitcoin. And in fact, that's another reason why we're seeing the Bitcoin dominance getting up from these ranges, and this thing changing. I think we'll see all coins bleed even more, as per the fact that the SEC is going behind them, after them, as securities. And the only thing that didn't get wrong is Bitcoin and ETH, so they are not securities until now, at the very least, if Gary says so. So those will get up, or will stay more or less at the same level. In this case, Bitcoin is getting up. USDT and USDT dominance are getting up. That's because probably people is taking profits on their altcoins, or anyway they're taking losses and getting out from the altcoins. They think they are securities, and getting into Bitcoin or into stablecoin to be sure I'm getting out from Coinbase or so on. This is what we see right now happening. So the conclusion are for me the same as I already said. We'll probably see the stable coins staying right there until we get to the point that we talked about, until we get here at this point, at these levels, where we have the support we need and the liquidity we need in the next few days. Probably all these stable coins will be put at here on spot prices, or anyway waiting for to a good entry to the next uptrend. So I think if we don't get up really soon, the probability is every day that we get down to retest new levels to get liquidity to getting up again. It's more and more every day for the short-term price action. So until then, we'll have to wait, because if we the last thing, if we get to the weekly, we are still in an uptrend, and until we get down below the 20k again, we are getting here a higher low, more or less. Obviously, you can take into account that this is a lower high and this is still a lower low, so it's changing. But in my opinion, it's not on the monthly chart. Instead, we are finally starting getting a higher low. So monthly, long term is changing. Meanwhile, even weekly, if you account for that, meanwhile the daily is actually on a downturn, and we need to get a little bit more down to get liquidity to get up. This is it for today. Thank you everyone for being with me and to listen all to all that I had to say. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, just follow the links in the description, and subscribe, click the notification bell, and we'll see you next time. I wish you the best things in life, as always, health, money, and love. Cheers.